Hello everyone, thanks for connecting with me. Today in this video, I'll be covering the PPAP requirements at the higher level. Basically, I'll be covering some of the important aspects like what is PPAP, why PPAP is required, where this PPAP is applicable, what are the submission levels, how these submission levels are decided by the customer, and when to submit PPAPs, what are the different reasons. So talking about PPAP, PPAP is a production part approval process, which is a customer-driven process. The latest edition which we are following is the fourth edition, right? So let us start with the PPAP requirements now. What is PPAP? Whenever the organization is following the PPAP process, it's a customer product qualification process. If they're following this process, it means those manufacturers, they follow and ensure that whatever the parts they produce, so they will meet to the customer specifications. So it means any organization, if they are following PPAP, it means they are able to meet the customer specifications. So now let us talk about the PPAP approvals. If someone is saying we have got the PPAP approval for the particular component, it means after the approval, the whole team has understood the requirements, PPAP requirements from the customer, and they have communicated to the internal stakeholders and they are able to meet the internal and external customer specific requirements. So when we have got the approval of PPAP, it means our team has understood the PPAP requirements from the customer and these requirements are communicated internally to all these stakeholders and we are able to meet the internal and external customer requirements. And one of the important aspect is like PPAP must be submitted and approved before quantity shipment. So if you are not got approval of PPAP, it means you're not able to dispatch the component to the customer. In that case, you may have to take the deviation only for few, few quantities or the duration, unlimited duration, you can submit the components. So now let us talk about the scope of PPAP. So when we talk about the scope, so this is purely applicable for the internal and external organizations. So when to notify the customers related to PPAP? Whenever you go for any of the plan changes, right? Prior to the implementation, you have to notify to the customer and get the approval from the customer. And what about the records retention requirements related to PPAP? So these records needs to be kept for the length of the part is active plus 1 calendar year. Basically, this requirement is from the IATF requirement. So IATF requirement standard says like for the product records and the process records, including the PPAP records, needs to be kept for the part active plus 1 calendar year. If the part is obsolete today, then for the next 1 year, you have to keep those records. So this is the shall requirement from the standard itself. So this is also one of the mandatory requirement you have to follow, right, as a record retention related to the PPAP. So now let us talk about the PPAP submission, why when the PPAP submission is required with a few examples. Okay, the first one, whenever you are going for a new product, you have to submit the PPAP. It's a mandatory thing. And whenever you go for the changes in the existing products, like modifications or the changes in the existing products, you have to submit the PPAP. It can be a re-PPAP for you. Only the applicable elements you have to revisit and you have to confirm to the customer. You have to send it to the customer for the approval. Then talking about the next point, a new process or the technology introduction. This is again one of the example. Your team is introducing, organization is introducing a new process or new technology. In that condition, again, you have to go for the re-PPAP. And one more example is tool is inactive for 12 months or more. In that condition also, you have to do it, the re-PPAP. It means the applicable elements you have to submit to the customer and get it approved. And change in location, change in plan, right? So these are again some other examples where the PPAP would be required. So I have just mentioned some of the important examples here to submit the PPAP. But other than this, generally speaking, any of the change related to the product or process, right? Any change, if it is having the impact on the product quality or the process quality, in that condition, you have to notify to the customer and get it approved. So this is very important. The last statement is very, very important, which is having the impact on the product quality. Those changes you have to communicate, you have to notify and get it approved from the customer prior to the implementation. So let us talk about the submission levels. What are the submission levels? When these submission levels are required and how these submission levels are decided. So let us talk about what are the submission levels. So there are 5 submission levels, right? The first one is level 1 to level 5, right? There are 5 submission levels. The first part submission warrant is the first level where PSW with the sample would be required to submit to the customer to, this would be a part of level 1 where only the component will be there and the PSW sign off will be there. Talking about level 2, where PSW will be there with the component, physical samples with the limited supporting data. It means it can be the inspection report, control plan, FMEA, PFD, some limited data will be there, limited documents will be there with the PSW on the component. Level 3 is considered as the default level. So basically, when someone is saying like we follow the default level PPAP, it means they are following the level 3 PPAP. So it's a default level. So in this like PSW with product samples that will be there and all the complete supporting data like the 18 elements of PPAP. So this default level can also be, sent, these documents can be sent to the customer through emails and customer can give the approval through email. No need to go on site and review all these processes. Through email also, customer can give the approval for all these elements and supplier can go for the regular production based on this approval. So level 4 talks about all the 18 elements, right? 18 elements, PSW with the samples and other requirements as a CSR. So this is added here, CSR part. So these are part of the level 4. Then level 5 is the final one, where PSW will be there, 18 elements will be there, CSRs will be there. So all these 3 parameters will be there. And apart from this, customer physically witness the manufacturing process of the supplier. So physically witness the manufacturing site, manufacturing process as per the PPAP requirements. If I'm the customer, based on the criticality of the component, I'm deciding to go for level 5. It means I will go on site at the supplier end and I will review the whole supplier like manufacturing process as per the PPAP requirements. So I will witness the whole process with respect to the decided guidelines. So this is level 5. So now let us talk about when the submission levels are important, how to decide this. So the submission levels are applicable whenever the organization go for the new product or the changes in the existing products. So these 2 scenarios, you have to submit the PPAP. In fact, whenever you submit the PPAP to the customer, there will be a question related to this, right? So there will be a question like whether it is an initial submission or changes in the tools, changes in the part. So those points will be there. Those checkpoints will be there. So you have to select those and you have to submit the PPAP. And now let us talk about the how part, how the submission levels decided and who will decide the submission level. So basically the submission levels will be decided by the customer. So customer will decide how many what will be the submission level for this particular supplier, right? So how on what basis they will decide. So very important aspects like based on the important aspects. The first point is organization's quality recognition status. This is very, very important, right? So like, let's say for the last 1 year, right? So or last 3 years, what is the quality recognition status related to? It can be rejection, it can be PPM, right? It can be any other quality related information, right? So that information you have to check here. And talking about the previous experience, like related to in terms of quality, cost, delivery, like how was the response from the supplier, right? So those things you have to verify here. Like previous experience, how the supplier was responded to your issues, your complaints, right? So that you can check. Quality certifications, this is also very important. What kind of certifications they have? Let's say they might be having ISO 9001, IATF 16949, or they might be having any other standards, right? So 17025, particularly for the laboratory management system. So based on their product type, you can just check what kind of certifications they have. And one of the important thing is from which certification body they have got certified, because there are so many hundreds of certification bodies. They just give the certificates as a formality. So just try to check whether they have the right, they have selected the right certification body, and they have a strong system. And talking about the one more important point is expertise, product and process expertise. Let's say there are few organizations, they are really, really good at their product and processes. They are experts in their product and processes. So they are having a great SMEs with the organization. So you just check that, and due to that, there are no issues at all from the supplier for the last 1 year or 3 years or 5 years. So that way you can just check and you can understand what is the capability of the supplier. And the final point is part criticality. If the part is related to braking system, engine related components, so maybe you have to, finally you have to go for the level 5, because you cannot compromise on this particular point. So in this condition, you have to check for the criticality of the component. This is very, very important. Whether this component's performance is going to impact on the overall functionality, safety, or the overall vehicle performance, right? So this is very important. So this is how you can check and take a decision which level needs to be decided for the particular supplier. So this is how, I just wanted to cover a few aspects like, submission levels, when to submit the PPAP, and the meaning of PPAP, like where it is applicable. So these things I have covered in this short video. So if you have any other, if you want to have more clarity about this or any other quality aspects, please connect with me separately. And we also, have the solutions on electronic quality management system, even for the quality control solutions. If you are facing any of the quality challenges, definitely you can connect with us. We can, discuss and we can go for a new solutions wherever you are facing the new challenges or the issues. Right. So thank you very much for watching this video. Stay connected. Thank you.